Are you ready to give us your minute pitch and get some feedback?
Yeah, sure. I'm a founder of a Fintech company. We are building an infrastructure and a product company.
So I'm building a Gen AI-assisted resume maker.
Well, if you're going to build it, you should talk about it.
So I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Sentry Skin.
Telehealth is inefficient. That is why we built Yod, your online doctor diagnostics.
Why is that important?
I have to think about that. Good question.
That's the one problem you're solving. I don't see it as such a huge pain point.
All right, let's welcome our next founder up, shall we? Round of applause. What's your name?
I'm Dave. I'm the founder of Curricula.
Are you ready to give us your minute pitch and receive some feedback and back and forth?
Yeah,
You might want the mic a little closer.
a little
I was going to
close.
say that too. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
You have a minute. What are you building?
So I'm building a Gen AI-assisted resume maker. You put your stuff in, it generates a nice resume for you. You have your resume as a PDF, and then you tap on it and prompt away. And basically, then you have a shareable PDF for any different job you have. And I'm basically trying to solve like the recruiter ghosting problem and like the whole application tracking thing, which is a big problem right now. So I'm generating resumes to eliminate resumes. That's my pitch.
Ah, half of a minute. Well done. Generating resumes to eliminate resumes. This is a problem I'm intimately familiar with as the founder of Agency, and I've been a startup founder and product leader in this space for a long time. So why don't I go second?
So you're generating the resumes for people. How's this eliminate resumes?
Because right now, resumes is a extra step between you and the hiring manager. There's a resume and then 10 recruiters and then the hiring manager. So you're always playing tokenization with the ATS and like, maybe this will hit, maybe this will not hit, right? So I want to make it like a standard process where like, you'll be like one day, hey, Curricula, I want to bartend tonight. And then like a page will open up with prospective employers and you just chat with them. That's it.
Why was none of that part of your pitch?
Because that's not possible. You can't just like eliminate industries. You got to transition. So that's the way you build forward.
How do you think about how much of a pitch should be vision versus near term?
Well, if you're going to build it, you should talk about it as part of the vision. If you're not going to build it, then not. And the reason why I asked how you're going to eliminate them, I'm trying to work out who the customer is to you. And who's the person who's going to pay you money? Is it the person having their resume built, or is it the business that's receiving?
So it's both. The business needs a recruiter dashboard. They need email management. That's why we get ghosted.
So I've lost the job.
Yeah.
I've lost my income.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling rich at the moment, but I'm going to pay you money to write my resume?
No, so that's like the market. Like if you look at the PDF, all PDF resumes makers, there's two ones, Gen AI and non-Gen AI. The non-Gen AI are like just in the business of making templates. So they make nice resumes and they won't do it without $5 a week. So,
or you just sit down and write down your damn resume. I mean,
for sure.
It's not difficult to know what goes into a resume.
For sure. So the reason I'm doing it is like, it started like a decade ago. I was like a founding engineer. We had like a very similar app, no Gen AI. Million people, #1 on Google Play Store. So you hear stories. It's like super resume. And you hear stories like people like coming back from like cancer, like people who didn't own a laptop, didn't own a phone, like how to make a PDF resume. And when they use our stuff, they get a nice resume and that gets them a job that changes their lives. So that's the reason I'm doing it. Now Gen AI is there, everyone needs it. I'm not doing anything new. Like everyone has a resume, 3 versions. I have it doc, PDF, ChatGPT. I'm combining that into one product. That's it.
So I think the pitch is a little bit confused.
Yeah.
But let me ask 2 questions just to sort in my head. How are you different than a plain call to ChatGPT? Are you just sending?
No, I'm not different. I'm just giving them an easier access, creating a product which is
where the
easier
output
to
is
use.
the PDF?
Yeah, like they have to like copy stuff, put it in a doc, format it, make a PDF, and then be presentable.
Okay. What do you see as the product pathway from being a resume generator to all these other elements?
A lot of staffing agencies have definitely reached out, so like APIs and recruiting dashboards, but definitely a resume expert marketplace where you have like finance recruiters, like coaches who like at least save like 3 to 4 days in just coaching.
Why would people want to coach instead of using AI?
Yeah, so they will not want to coach. They want to save their time. They want to say like, okay, just use Curricula, like that's it, and come to me with a nice resume.
Oh, so you're saying that the staffing agency would replace their coaches with Curricula?
Their coaches will not spend 3 days on fixing a resume 5 iterations.
So now this is a coaching-facing product.
That's the resume marketplace. So I could be like fine-tuning like models for you and like hosting them, and
For
like,
who?
you can charge. So you are a resume expert. So there's like, if you're like a finance recruiter, you could have like a lot of people want to use your model. So I can host it up for you.
You host my model, people use it, and I get a VIG?
Yep.
I don't think you have a lot of this put together yet. How far along are you?
So I started a month ago. I quit my job at Amazon 3 weeks ago. I have my video, my demo out. I've hired people all over. I can show you a video right now. It's just done today. So yeah.
Look, I think I believe in this general problem space existing. I believe in solutions in this needing an approach. I've been in this space as a startup founder and product leader for, again, a little over a decade now. However, I think you need to unify all of these elements.
For sure.
Because they might make sense. So it might make sense to say, today I'm starting with an AI, a generative AI resume maker. Because right now that's what people want, because they have to fight an ATS. But tomorrow they won't just be fighting an ATS. Recruiters are going to evolve. Companies' hiring processes are going to evolve. In fact, applicant tracking systems are getting overwhelmed because there are so many AI resumes. So whereas today we're collaborating with a job seeker with AI resumes, what we're really doing is establishing a relationship with both sides of the market. We're going to get data and engagement from job seekers, build tools like the AI resume maker for them. And on the other side, we're starting to talk to staffing agencies and companies to explore what does it look like once we see all this data and we understand the UX of this to maybe take out the middle thing of the resume at all.
So we were in the seed round of a company called Cornerstone On Demand that started as CyberU, consumer-focused e-training, and then they pivoted to corporate, and they do applicant tracking and a ton of other stuff. I mean, I would not be shocked if someone like a Cornerstone, someone with an established ATS that's pretty dominant, offered out ChatGPT resume builders for free, on the view that when it'd have for want of a better term, embedded QR code in it. So when it hit their applicant tracking system, they could just pull in all the normalized data into them, because they would be involved in the creation and doing that. So there may be a window for you to explore this as a way to attack the ATSs. But if I was running an ATS, that's what I would be doing. I'd be saying, how do we actually leverage this to get better data into our
Let's be clear,
ATS?
no investor at this point, they get 1,000 generative AI resume pitches every single week. That's not why anyone's going to be interested in what you're building. They're going to be interested in what you're building because of the vision of the future, whether it's because you're creating a no middle thing, no middle document portion of the process, or you're suggesting, hey, ATSs and job seeking as we know it are both going to break under the pressures of generative AI as they exist. This is a moment where XYZ can happen instead. Because you told some hero stories about people who come back from cancer and all this other stuff, and it's kind of like, okay, but what is that related to, right? Well, if you're saying it's related to the generation of a resume, sure, but as you know, that already exists, you've already built it, and the generative AI version is not that much better. But if you're saying this is a starting point to some other interaction that you want to enable between recruiters and job seekers that'll be better than the resume process today, you have to say that out loud as part of your pitch. And you can say, we're starting here for XYZ reason, this is product one, but here's where vision X comes into play.
A really good point. I just want to address the ATS thing. So that's been going on for decades. What I believe is just AI using data, and it gets any novel new data point, it breaks. You train your data on all American and Asian resumes, and then someone with a different formatted Peruvian resume comes up, you can't parse it.
But you're not solving this problem.
I will. That's the point. I'm coming from the resume point. That's my aspect.
How do you solve that though? If someone, let's say we're just talking about gender, and gendered resumes do worse, or female coded resumes do worse than male coded resumes. How do you solve that with an AI resume generator?
I have to think about that. Good question.
And I'm not saying that's not a problem worth tackling and that AI inside of an ATL, like Greenhouse is an example. I know the founder of Greenhouse quite well, Daniel Chait. A lot of their products are about removing bias from how hiring managers and recruiters review applications and resumes. So like the idea of addressing this makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But you can't go to that mission from the AI generated resume product. That is like too big of a leap. And I'm like, okay, like what does A have to do with B, even though both might be valuable to some extent, they're
Yeah.
not related today.
I got to lead into it. Got
Exactly.
it. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
sharing.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank you, guys.
How many AI generated resume pitches do you get a week?
Actually, not that many.
Not that many. Maybe people know it's a tar pit. Some of them are well labeled, right? All right, let's welcome our next founder to the stage. Round of applause. Hi there. What's your name?
My name's Anisha.
Anisha, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you both.
Are you ready to give us your minute pitch and get some feedback?
Sure.
All right, go
I'm
ahead. Tell
ready.
us, what are you building?
So I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Sentry Skin. Sentry Skin is using computer vision, large language models, and algorithms to democratize skincare. We're mainly focused on people of color. I'm prior to this an engineer myself, and I worked at Google, and my entire team consists of former Googlers, and what we are trying to do is solve the problem of unsustainable misuse of products, packaging, and undiagnostic skincare conditions. So we have done a lot of market studies. And we've come to learn that a lot of people, myself included, we're just like rampantly buying products and not knowing if they're actually good for us. So my product will scan your skin, and then it will scan all of the ingredients on your shelf of the products you're currently using, and then give you a routine that will enhance your skin over a period of time. So we have multiple points of sale too built into the app. One of them would be, is that the red light?
That's about a minute.
Yeah.
Good job.
So again, we're not a product, consumer product VC, so difficult to really know the problem. And I think right up front, it's worth you saying, like stating this is a problem.
No.
You know, people of color, skincare products, problem, we're trying to solve that. But again, it asks the question, like, why wouldn't a large skincare company, if this takes off, you've discovered the next best thing to sliced bread, this takes off and becomes 100 million, 200 million business, why wouldn't someone come and copy it?
They're actually already, the computer vision product that we're building, it is proprietary and licensed to me. However, there are competing products already in the market. What we have is a market advantage. We are focused on people of color. And once we become $100 million
Why is
product.
that important?
Why is what important?
That you're focused on people of color.
Because the people of color market globally is about $100 billion in skincare.
Why are you well positioned for the people of color market?
Because both me and my co-founder are both women of color. And we're both
Why
very,
is a targeted solution better than a generic solution?
you know what?
A generic solution.
A targeted solution, it enables customers to feel like we have done our market research and that they come to us knowing that we are targeted towards people of color and skincare of color.
Is it also true that being targeted and doing that research on that market means you'll have unique insights of some kind? Truly novel insights or no?
We do have truly novel data sets with people of color skincare data sets.
These are the answers you want to get to, by the way. So I didn't ask those questions because I'm skeptical. I don't know if I'm skeptical or not, but I asked that because you want to say, when you receive that sort of question from me of like, it's not important that you're targeting people of color because you're targeting people of color.
Yeah.
Some people will find that intriguing or not, but it's because the next thing you say are, A, it allows us to build brand affinity in a very specific and niche and targeted way. B, all of our studies are specific to these individuals, and you might, I don't know these facts to be true, but I'm going to guess you might not know that this demographic and this demographic actually have completely different skincare needs that the major beauty brands don't cover, and they don't understand, and they don't want to target because these can be seen as niche. But actually, we've done the market evaluation. If you do target these specific needs and priorities with a product that's going to solve these demographics problems, it's actually XYZ market opportunity that they haven't approached yet. So when you get that simple of a question, think of it like an invitation for a much longer justification for why, not why easily, but why persuade me it's important. Because I think those could all have been part of a really compelling answer.
Yeah.
Curology is a brand that I'm aware of that does,
They do a skin analysis. It's not. It
and then
is
they
a
send like a specific formulation.
They create the product. So they have a lab where they do a skin analysis. They look over, and we're not doing any of that. We're going existing market products. We will be partnering with medical spas. I already have intent of partnership with a few medical spas around New York. And we do have a B2B and a B2C model.
I think this has to be your entire pitch. What's the name of the product again?
Sentry Skin.
So Sentry Skin, John, so you have to understand something. Skincare exploding. More companies than ever targeting specific demographics, more uncertainty from the consumer, more TikTok influencers trying to tell you what to do and how to do it. But none of it's really scientifically backed, all of it's anecdotal. We're building a computer vision model and AI algorithms.
Ex-Googlers.
We're ex-Googlers. We know how to do this personalized to you in particular without you needing to buy our fancy formulation. We actually think there's enough on the shelf and enough people building. So instead, you take our app, you scan what's on your shelf, you tell us about you, your skin, your demographics, and we help you curate how exactly you do your skincare, what else you need to add as a complement, and we are going to build into this market as a marketplace where you can buy people's products, buy other people's products on our platform, understand your skincare long-term on our platform, and overall add data to an element and an industry that is currently entirely driven by aesthetics.
That's exactly
But
right.
not build your own product.
I'm building the
Eventually, right? That's
computer
the
vision
play.
product and the back-end algorithm, the RAG model, that I'm building.
Okay.
I have to build the engineering, the
That
tech
I
stack.
think, and you said that's what it is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's your pitch though.
That's
The
right.
rest, I think the problem, you then have to like only be talking to people who understand it. Whereas the thing I just said, I know Curology because I tried it once. So like my version of the pitch would appeal to me because I wanted to try skincare. And as a dude, I was like, I don't know what to buy. And then I saw a startup that got funding. And so I signed up. This is literally like 7 years ago or something. I still have the bottles. I never used it.
Yeah.
So you get my imagination going,
Yeah.
even though I'm not your target customer, because it makes complete sense to say, here's where there's a lot of existing ingredients. Here's the monetization and the go-to-market that's novel to us because we're not going to take the Curology approach.
Yeah.
We're not going to build the next, kind of particular
Yeah.
aesthetic brand.
We're not going to shelf.
And the message for consumer brands has to be very simple. I was at Goldman for 21 years, the last 11 years on sales and trading floor, and we saw every company that went public. I remember Bare Minerals, when they went public, very simple, powerful CEO, and she basically said, that's what this is. It doesn't have all the other crud in it.
Yep.
Right? It's just minerals, and it's great, and it's blood. And Kevin, whatever his name was, from Under Armour, and he had his origin story was he sweated a lot in his kit and wanted to do something better. And we've now got these unique materials, and that's what we're doing to build a brand. And we're coming up too small for Nike to care
Yeah.
until we get big, by which point we'll have built a brand. But the stories themselves were very simple stories. So one of the things you want to encapsulate this is just the simplicity of it, because people don't have a lot of attention span.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to take advantage of that if you position it in terms of like, we're not building another one of these. And in fact, that's the mess.
Yeah.
That's the mess today for the consumer, especially. And so we're going to solve that mess. And then here's the other benefits from a product and business and algorithm standpoint that come from solving that.
Cool.
Yes.
Super
Thank
compelling.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sure. Well, let's bring our next founder a round of applause. All right, Maz, do you want to wear your sunglasses during? I'm just kidding.
If it's too bright, maybe I will. Hi, everyone. It's Maz Maiman.
All right, are you ready to tell us what you're building and get some feedback?
Yeah, sure. I'm a founder of a fintech company. We are building an infrastructure and a product company, which I've come from a traditional background of 15 years in banking and have been in blockchain since last 7 years. So I saw a problem in both sides of the finances, and hence we're building a solution which can solve, which does aggregation of all your liquid assets on all classes, as well as the real-time settlement of your payments, which is usually takes 1 to 5 businesses, depending on which part of the world you are. And also, we are reducing a barrier of entry into the real estate market by our platform, where people can invest less than $100, which is a very high usually if you go to the traditional real estate investment side of the things. So yeah, soon start using BuyPay. It will be launched in a month. We are in the review process with Apple and Google currently. And we are raising $2.5 million for 10% equity. And we just signed a $610 million LOI with Emirates Worldwide.
That's a minute. John, I'm not sure I know what this product did. Do you
No.
know? Okay, so let's do some clarity
Sure.
seeking first. Describe it from a simple UX perspective. If I'm a user today, can I be a user today? Is it
Yes,
out?
not yet.
Not yet. When will it be usable?
In a month.
Describe a user in a month. If I sign up in a month,
Yes.
what can I do?
As soon as you sign up, you would be able to, you have existing bank account or wallets, whatever you use, and you use Fidelity, Robinhood for your...
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
What do I want to do with your product? Why am I signing up and connecting my
To
account?
reduce friction, first of all, to reduce friction of not having 5 to different apps or 5 to 10 different brokerages for your stocks, your crypto, you can aggregate all that in one.
So the pain is that I'm on different
So it's
platforms.
a crypto wallet?
No, you could integrate. We are an infra, so we sit on the top of exchanges and brokers.
Your crypto wallet aggregator?
That as well as for stocks as well. So all your Robinhood's Fidelity, we aggregate that and we do the settlement off ramping as well.
Off-ramping in a way that would bypass their off-ramping? Like if I want to off-ramp from Robinhood and settle.
So,
So-
if I own 100 shares of Apple
Yes.
on Robinhood and I open your app,
Yes.
your app logs into my Robinhood account and gives me visibility, or you suck my Apple shares
No.
out of
It's
Robinhood?
read only, but you sell through the brokerage itself. But today, when you do it, whether it be your Robinhood or Fidelity, the settlement happens. You have to settle it through the broker, then into your bank account, then do the next investment. We take care of all that through the infrastructure. The transactions and everything happens still with your brokerages. We build the infra for that. Now, when you settle it, we also have the debit card feature that comes in it. So
No
you
one
can do-
thinks they settle it. They just think they did a trade and it's done.
Yes.
And next day the money shows up. They don't think about settlement.
Correct. They didn't. It happens in the infrastructure, right? As you said, the money shows up next day, not in real time.
Correct, unless Robinhood has a
Unless you use our
real-time
app.
loan that they secure against it. But what is it that you do?
So we do exactly the settlement part within the real
What's
time.
the pain that like?
So
But how can you do that? I
So-
sell my 100 shares.
Yeah.
Let's say they're 100, so it's
Sure.
$10,000.
Sure.
You're going to give me $10,000 I can access immediately.
Correct.
Even though you don't have my securities. So you don't have the cash from Robinhood and you don't have you don't have the securities in the margin account. Robinhood does.
Right. So we start with in phases. Phase 1 is crypto. Phase 2 is real estate. Phase 3 is stocks.
Let's start with phase 1.
Sure. Phase 1 is cryptos.
Okay.
Sure.
So crypto.
Yeah.
So you're not a crypto wallet,
We're not. We aggregate all the wallets.
right? So
And
you
the
can see
brokerages.
on my Coinbase
Yes.
that I sold my however many Bitcoin. I got my $10,000
Sure.
coming to me. Coinbase will make that available to me when?
In 1 to 3 business days.
Okay. So you'll lend me money against that.
Right. So what we do is, so let's say, for example, you have your MetaMask, Binance, Coinbase. Taking your example of Coinbase.
Let's just assume Coinbase.
Yeah,
Let's
you want to
keep-
sell. You want to sell.
I sell
You
it.
want to sell one Ethereum or $100,000 worth. We acquire your asset. We give you the money in real time.
How do
and
you
we
acquire
sell-
the asset?
How do we acquire asset? Because asset is exchangeable. It's a real time 24-hour exchange. So we acquired your asset. We give you equivalent amount of funds, and we exchange it in the back end.
I think this is easier to answer for crypto. than it
Crypto
is for
exchanges
stock.
are open
So how would you do it
24/7.
if it's Robinhood and the Apple stock?
So we give 50% leverage. So let's say if you are doing off ramping of $100,000, we give you 50% upfront.
Is that the value prop of all of this? That you're
Get your money faster?
Yeah, and of course the borderless transfers anywhere in the world, right? That's one of the biggest things. The most problem in the settlement in traditional banking is, as you rightly said, 1 business days to 3 business days to 5, depending which part of the world.
Are there regulatory hurdles to this?
So because we are an infra, we are not a brokerage. We don't have to have a money transmitting license or any, because we are still using the existing brokerages, right? A. B, as far as United States or any other territories, whatever licenses we would need in future, we already have applied for some of them.
Okay. So Robinhood,
Yeah.
I have my Apple. They'll
Sure.
give me 50% margin today.
Yeah.
I sell my Apple.
Sure.
They'll settle tomorrow.
Yeah.
Clear my margin, and my other 50% will be available tomorrow.
Absolutely. Depending on the rate.
So what
because-
is it that you're doing that's different than that?
So but you won't get everything up front, right? So let's say 100.
You said you'll give 50% upfront on stock.
if it's aftermarket. If you settle with Robinhood aftermarket, you're not getting anything.
We're not going to have enough time to go through this.
We'll have an offline
Yeah,
conversation for sure.
Yeah.
And the other bigger picture.
I don't see, if that's the one problem you're solving,
Yeah.
I don't see it as such a huge pain point.
And then to our infra and the product, the phase 2, as I said, because it's all asset classes, right? You can move from asset classes. Today, if you want to be moving into from stocks to crypto or crypto to real estate, you have to make those transactions in different days. You cannot.
Probably a decade ago, I went to my first blockchain meetup, and I was blown away. The room was like packed, 200 people in the room, and people pitching ideas. And this guy comes up and he goes, I'm going to build an exchange where you can swap, you can have Ethereum and Bitcoin and whatever, and you can exchange one to the other, and I'm going to make that very efficient. And I said to him, like, people are just going to wake up and they're going to want to swap their their Bitcoin to Ethereum to Litecoin. Like, this is ridiculous, right? And he decided to drop the idea. It wasn't a bad idea. So, like,
It's happening now.
So maybe you're so far ahead of the curve.
there is
but
a reason.
to me, I don't get it.
And then the
So I
phase.
admit I didn't get that, and I should
Sure.
have.
I think when you see the product or demo, it would make more sense.
Yep.
And phase 2 is the real estate part of it. It's for fractionalizing the real estate, right?
So,
Because
and there've
today
been fractionalized real estate plays that have been interesting. Lex Markets. Who else
in the
has been-
RWA space, but
So
yeah.
look, I don't know. Have you ever been to a Fragrancy event before?
No, I have not.
I'm an atheist in religion, as in I'm not agnostic. I disbelieve, and I'll fight people on it. And I'm an atheist in my nature towards blockchain and Web3. I think it's been largely a scam and a lack of utility. That doesn't mean everyone in it is scamming, but the utility has just not been there. The problem with your pitch is it almost
In certain parts of Web3, blockchain,
there's no value.
not as a technology.
Web3 as a technology or as
So
a
you're saying
platform. Give me
blockchain as
one
a
example of
blockchain as a
value.
technology.
Give me one example of blockchain as technology as value.
I've only found one.
Give me.
Micropayments cross-border.
But only really useful
Which
for
is a
people
tiny-
trying to
No,
go
no.
across the rule set, right? Which is its own problem. One time someone said the same thing to me. I want transactions to be sanctionable. So this actually I don't like.
Well, but they were solving a particular problem, which
Yes.
is having individuals around the world enabling their computer to be a VPN out point.
Which it shouldn't be though.
Well,
Politically. Geopolitically.
That's a different issue. I fall on the other side of the politics.
I'll give you- maybe- I think-
that's right. So there's one thing here which is cross
that
border
was-
payments.
I can give you 10 different use cases
But let me
in 10
just give
different
it to you as a
industries.
pitch thing, because there's been a blockchain startup actually. If I am Blaze, shout out to him. He convinced me actually on cross-border payments. Funnily enough, you're gonna like this. So his whole idea is it's like a Venmo style app, except he's using USDC. I don't remember why he and Anthony Pompliano got into it on stage about what he was using. But the whole idea was cross-border micropayments, but the user doesn't know or care that it's Web3 or
Exactly,
USDC.
that's what we are doing.
Your pitch wasn't that.
Yeah.
So I got lost in like the blockchaininess, the crypto, then it was real estate suddenly. You have to think, again, because we're not going to get to your
Absolutely.
product. I might value something in the same
Yeah.
way that Blaze was actually quite interesting to me. There might be something here. Simplify to use case, user experience. What does it feel like? Why am I bleeding to use it? I don't think people are bleeding to do crypto into their public stocks into real estate that way. But there might be other utility to the fact you're bringing that all under one roof.
Right.
So think about how to talk about that, but not the innards that are all philosophy, right?
Sure.
The blockchain innards or the fact it's Web3 as innards or
Again, it comes back to talking to the product use case. I use my iPhone to take good photos. I don't really care about all the tech that gets there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we're running out of
Thank you.
time. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I
Thanks for
appreciate it.
tussling
Thank you
with
so
us.
much, guys.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. All right, let's welcome our last founder to the stage. All right.
Hi.
Hi there. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex, friend of Free Agency, and so I'm excited to hear what he's building. Alex, are you ready to give your minute pitch?
Sure.
You have a minute. Tell us, what are you building?
So I moved to the US a little over than 1 year ago, and unfortunately I got to the ER 7 times for myself, my friends, or my family. Tough year, right? At least 3 of those visits could be easily replaced with telehealth consultation, but not just regular telehealth. Telehealth is inefficient. That is why we built YOD, your online doctor diagnostics. It's a remote diagnostic tool which consists of digital stethoscope, digital otoscope, thermometer, pulse oximeter, and we're working on adding EKG as well. And the idea is to provide data about patient's health during an online call for a doctor. And we hope that that is going to help to reduce the number of ER visits, which are very expensive. Our device is much cheaper than competitors, easy to integrate with, and also very secure. Most of our competitors are in the service business. They're providing the full service, medical consultation, device, and doctors. We want to partner with telehealth providers.
You want to wrap up that thought?
Who buys your product?
We're planning to partner with telehealth providers and either white label the device for them.
So you want to sell hardware to Teladoc or other?
In the first stage, yes, because we eventually going to get into the service business as well, but it's going to take 4 or 5 years to get there. So we don't want to wait that time to start generating revenues. So we are going to start selling the device hardware to telehealth providers.
So let's say let's say Teladoc, for want of a better one.
Which
Let's
is
say I
going to go
use it.
bankrupt
How do
soon.
I get the device? It gets mailed to me?
Yes, it's going to be shipped. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm probably going to want to use Teladoc because I feel sick now. I don't want to wait 24 hours or 48 hours for something to be shipped to me.
Right. There are different options how to ship the device to the home of the patient. And it depends on the partnership with the hospital that is the Teladoc or whoever is working with. But yes, the idea is that the patient should have the device at home, and anyone in the family who gets sick, call your family doctor, connect the device, and get the remote consultation with it.
So what is the device?
Digital stethoscope, otoscope, thermometer, pulse oximeter, and EKG soon, all in one device.
Just pitch feedback when you're giving this long list of complicated devices. More voice, more...
Sure. The doctor can listen to your heart, listen to your lungs, check your ears, nose, throat, measure pulse, temperature, saturation.
I feel like there's a philosophy behind your pitch that you're not getting to that I'd like to hear more about. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is your point, because like when you said, oh, I'm sick now, are you trying to enable these platforms to be more long-term oriented? Is that like part of the mission? Like, how do you think about this from a why perspective? Other than, yes, it's like a need of some kind, some amount of the time, but like, what's your larger why?
My larger why is that remote work is a new norm. I truly believe that home care is going to be a new norm very soon. And yes, the idea is that patients are going to understand, and they already understand that, and they should be proactive in order to take care of their health and find a way to get the device.
That surprised me a little bit, but
Yeah, so we do very little in healthcare, but we led probably a decade ago now the seed round in Owlet Healthcare. And Owlet has this little sock you put on a baby, and it measures temperature, movement, pulse, and blood oxygen level. And monster babies tend not to die. There's 4 million babies born in the US, about 4,000 die from heart and lung complications, including SIDS. And that's where the parents are highly incentivized to help their children sleep better and also worry this bundle of thing they've got coming home. And so the consumer buys this product and they use it for 3 months or 6 months or whatever. In fact, the latest stat is 8% of babies born in the country now go home with an Owlet sock, which is kind of amazing.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
I think I told you I bought that when it was a primarily consumer device as a gift for a new mother.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. But
in our case, the insurance company is the one that interested to initiate it.
Well, so they also have FDA approval for the over-the-counter product. They have FDA approval for doctor prescribed sock as well. The idea being, you get a baby out of NICU a day or two early, you're saving.
I think the thing this is bringing up for me for your pitch is like, I want to live in more of this, right? Like, why and when.
But I'm just trying to think how the device, like, am I as a consumer going to say, oh, I'm going to buy one of these and put it on the shelf so I might use it? I don't think so. does it get shipped to me and I have to ship it back? That's a bit like when you do one of those apnea tests, you get shipped that box with all the cables, and you have to ship it back. It's bloody
You don't
pain.
need to just ship it back.
Yeah.
You get it and it's there forever in your
So
house.
I'm still trying to find the low friction way of getting this into the hands of the consumer when they need it for the short period of time that they need it. And then even if they get it, it's kind of like, this is not meant to be a pejorative, but like half of people in the world have a below average IQ, right? So you're going to ship what is a reasonably sophisticated thing, even if it's simple to use. There'll be some percentage of people who won't know up from down and how to use it. So
I think this needs to be all part of your product and your pitch.
so this is the thing that's not coming across to me, which is knowing why people are compelled at the point they need it to be able to have it. And that was my question of like, who's paying for it? So the teledoc is going to put a bunch of these in various warehouses so they can ship them out. I don't get that piece of it.
I think this is where I'd want to hear more of kind of the vision and for you to say things like our devices are going to be easily accessible in a way, and that's part of our philosophy. It's going to be at home for you always, but only turned on when you need it. And here's how we're going to get providers and insurers to want it in your home for the first time and then use during incidents where you need it, right? Like that has to be all of the pitch, because I think the fact their devices or the fact this data is useful, those are kind of table stakes. So all of your product is in the unique user experience, the unique forms of go-to-market, how you make it sticky, have high retention, all this other stuff. So I'd say live less in that front of funnel of your pitch, which feels a little obvious, and live more in the ways in which you're going to make it work. And you'll have to come up with those answers and have those answers. But then it becomes intriguing because you're saying, I understand a bunch of stuff is stacked against me, but that's what we're actually tackling.
I don't know if you have like a partnership with CVS where I can go pick one up, use it, and then drop it back. But because I went to CVS, they like the foot traffic, and I'll buy some cold medicine at the same time.
Or they'll have a kiosk. Yeah, exactly. They're incentivized to have the kiosk.
Yeah, but so it's getting it into the consumer's hand when they need it. That's the piece that I like immediately comes to question here.
That's the piece I'm working to figure out.
Keep it up. It's a good mission.
Keep it up. Thank you.
All right, John, we have two things to do here to wrap up. It's our takeaways and our favorite pitches.
Okay.
Shall we start with takeaways? What's your takeaway for the night?
Great pitches.
Really exciting pitches.
Yeah, great pitches. It's kind of like I feel like I come to these events and I sound very negative, but I think it's important to give people unvarnished feedback, because elsewise, I use this phrase, that all successful founders are delusionally optimistic. I'm going to change behavior of 1 million people, right? They're going to do whatever they're going to do using my product, etc. But it doesn't mean that everyone who's delusionally optimistic ends up being a successful founder. And so I think it's important to really try and sort of pick it apart and give the counter side to it. But great people, great ideas, and this is how the world changes. And you have to be unreasonable.
Well, A, I think that feedback is a gift, and you're giving that to them. B, in particular, I'm often, when I sit next to you in particular on the stage, because we have different folks who rotate through the seat, I think they're getting what sometimes you and you might not think this way practically, but I think of as the obvious objections or questions. I think it's great practice, because a lot of what we said today to a bunch of different founders was you have to have better answers and you have to live more downstream in your pitch. And so you're giving them the unlock, which is a lot of reasons early stage founders with decent ideas get stuck in early stage fundraising is because they can't answer the first 17 questions, and you're helping them on this stage understand, here's the first 17 questions you're going to get. There are another 9 afterwards, but pass this test first too. And I think that's the key for a lot of these folks. Have an idea of how to tie your vision into your initial pitch, because investors want both. Have an idea of how you understand go-to-market if you're going to hit the FDA, because an investor wants confidence that you understand the obstacles ahead of you, whatever it might be. So I think of it as less as negative and more of a sneak peek that you're giving them of here's table stakes.
Right. Right. And look, it's the world is not changed by reasonable people. So if the negative feedback or if the pointed questions you have or I have are off-putting, then
Prove us wrong.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's my takeaway too. I'm just gonna sit on top of yours and agree with everything you said. All right, now let's pick our favorite pitches.
Well, I like the 18-year-old.
Me too. 18-year-old. Is he still here? 18-year-old has to go to a party or something, or is this bedtime?
Or curfew.
Curfew, exactly. That pitch, first of all, was really compelling. And I think the thing that was so compelling about it was the idea of here's how we diagnose and treat this. Why is it different in this, mental health category?
Right.
And that's so vivid, right? That immediately gets you nodding your head. And if you can get an investor, a customer, a partner, whatever going, oh man, yeah, I agree with that so much. That sequence of yeses that then come next from your solution.
He communicated it very well.
Communicated very well. And he's so young, he's got a lot of time to build it and figure it out.
Indeed.
All right, John,
Cool.
This was incredible. Thank you so much for your insights. Round of applause for you.
That's all.
Another round of applause to all the founders who got up here and pitched. And to the team of the Feedback Loop, round of applause to them. See y'all next week. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.